If there's one thing that cricket fans are eagerly waiting for apart from the all-important Border Gavaskar trophy, well, it's the finalized rules for the IPL auction that's going to take place likely in December later this year. Now let's just straight away cut to the chase and get on to the latest updates that we have for you on the IPL retentions. Now the first major update is that from BCCI's end, reportedly there's going to be a further delay in the release of rules. Well, the final decision was initially expected in the last week of August, that is basically the last month. Then it got shifted to the first week of September, and now there has been a further delay. Now, what are the reasons behind the delay? Well, there are no concrete reasons behind it, but one can predict that if BCCI are to come with some new rules on the IPL retention policy, well, they would want to take some more time so as to make sure that there are no loopholes associated with it. Now, by when is the decision expected? Well, there is no concrete date or no finalized date, but at the very same time, a final decision can be expected in the last week of September, around September 29th, a date when BCCI's AGM annual general meeting is set to happen in Bengaluru. Now, there is no direct link between the BCCI's AGM and them finalizing the IPL retention policy, but then all the major updates or the happenings can happen around that time only. Now, moving on, has there been any communication by the BCCI with the IPL franchises? Well, there hasn't been any formal communication, but the Indian Cricket Board has basically hinted the franchises that there could be a delay and the final decision on the retention policy can be expected in the next 10 to 12 days of time. Now, what's the last date for the franchises to finalize their retentions? Well, irrespective of the decision that BCCI makes on the retention policy, well, the franchises will be given time until November 15 to finalize their retentions. Now, will there be RTM options? And by RTM, it basically stands for right to match options. Yes, BCCI is very keen on bringing that option back. Now, moving on, will retired players act as uncapped players? Well, it can very well happen because BCCI is still reportedly exploring that option, but at the very same time, they would also have to make sure that the auction purse of the franchises does not impact significantly. Now, will Dhoni be retained? Well, if he basically goes on to that uncapped option, well, yes, it's going to be a plus for CSK and for other franchises too, who would want, several of their players to feature in that uncapped category, assuming that they are retired. But even if there is no uncapped option in the IPL retention policy that's going to come in the next few days, CSK are very keen on having Dhoni as one of their retentions, provided he is very keen on playing. Now, there's one more thing that this report did not have, and it's the impact player rule, where there are several pros and cons attached to the impact player rule. One of the major pros is that it allows an extra Indian player to perform on the big stage. And the con is that it significantly negates the role of an all-rounder in the Indian Premier League. And this is something that the BCCI officials will have to deliberate on very carefully. So what are your thoughts about the latest reports that we discussed around the IPL retention policy? You can let us know your thoughts in the comment section, and don't forget to subscribe to Sports Today for all the exciting updates and analysis on the sporting world. Until then, on behalf of my producer Pawan, it's Siddharth Gulati saying goodbye.